My parents told everyone I was a family embarrassment, but the truth I was hiding could destroy their pride in seconds. I didn't plan to expose anything that night. But when my dad smirked in front of 20 relatives and said, "Arya will never amount to anything," something inside me snapped. My mother leaned back in her chair, swirling her drink like she was celebrating my failures. "We tried everything," she said loudly. "College, internships, even connections. But Arya just wasn't made for success." People laughed. Actual laughter. My chest tightened. But I didn't show it. I had spent 3 years in silence, building something they didn't even know existed. Something that would flip this entire room upside down. My cousin Jenna whispered to her boyfriend, "She still works that tiny job, right? What was it, plants or something?" He chuckled. "Yeah, some small greenhouse thing." They had no idea my so-called greenhouse thing was about to be purchased for $8.5 million. But the worst hit came when my brother Liam lifted his glass and said, "Let's toast to our family." And to Arya, who at least tries. Everyone clapped. For a moment, the room felt like it was shrinking around me. I reached for my phone under the table, my heart pounding because the email notification I received 2 minutes earlier wasn't a joke. It was the final confirmation. The acquisition deal had closed. My hands trembled as the numbers flashed across the screen. And right then, my dad noticed my smile. "What's that look for?" he asked, irritation rising. The room quieted. I shifted toward me. For the first time in my life, I wasn't scared. I placed my phone on the table, turned it so they could all see the email, and the first person to gasp was my mother. But just as I opened my mouth to speak, my brother Liam suddenly grabbed the phone with shaking hands, and his face instantly turned white, because the second line of that email revealed something they never expected, something that would flip the entire family upside down. My brother's hand was shaking so hard, I thought he might drop my phone. His eyes scanned the screen again and again, like his brain refused to accept what he was reading. He finally breathed out, $8.5 million? Arya, what the hell is this? The entire room froze. My mom's wine glass slipped from her fingers and hit the floor, shattering. But she didn't even look down. My dad's face went blank, like someone had unplugged his confidence. I leaned back slowly. "That's the acquisition price. My AgTech company closed the deal tonight." My mom blinked fast. "What company? You don't have a company. You barely had a job." "She's lying," my aunt whispered. "Someone like her can't build something worth that much." I almost laughed. For years, these people acted like I was the family's unpaid intern, only useful when they needed someone to run errands or babysit kids. But now the room was shifting. Whispers turned into pure panic. My dad stepped forward. "Arya, where did you even get the money to start something like this?" I met his eyes with the calmest smile of my life. "I worked silently while all of you called me a failure." And that's when my cousin Jenna, who never missed a chance to insult me, spoke up with a full jealousy meltdown. "This has to be fake. Nobody pays millions for plants." I raised a brow. "Funny, a few hours ago, you didn't even think I had a job." But before I could say more, Liam suddenly checked the email's attachments, and his face collapsed. He looked up at me with fear. "Arya, this buyer, they didn't just acquire your company. They're giving you..." He stopped. His throat tightened. His voice cracked. My dad grabbed the phone, read the same line, and stepped back like he'd been hit, because the attachment revealed a confidential detail. I wasn't just getting the money. I was also being offered a national leadership position inside the acquiring company, one with authority that outranked every member of my family's businesses combined. The room erupted. "What does that mean? That can't be right. She's going to be above all of us." My mom's face drained of color. "Arya, you're not actually accepting that job, right? Right?" I held her gaze. Why wouldn't I? She opened her mouth, but before she could speak, the front door slammed open. Someone unexpected walked in, someone who made everyone's faces twist in fear. And the second I saw him, I realized the real twist hadn't even started yet. The room turned ice cold as the door swung open. My heart stopped, because the man who walked in wasn't family. But every single person in that room knew exactly who he was. Mr. Dalton, the CEO of the corporation that bought my startup. My dad's jaw dropped. WWH, what are you doing here? Dalton didn't even look at him. He walked straight toward me, his steps confident, his presence so powerful the entire room seemed to shrink. Arya, he said with a warm smile, congratulations again. We finalized everything an hour ago. I hope I'm not interrupting. Interrupting? My parents looked like someone had detonated a bomb under the dinner table. I stood up slowly. No, not interrupting at all. Actually, perfect timing. Dalton nodded and turned to the others. I assume Arya told you the news? My mom swallowed hard. We heard something, but I think there's a misunderstanding. Arya can't possibly be. He cut her off. No misunderstanding. She's brilliant, visionary. Her AgTech design is going to change how the food industry works nationwide. Then he added, almost casually, and we'll be positioning her above multiple senior executives. You could hear a pin drop. My aunt whispered, above your dad. And Liam? Dalton smiled politely. Above most people. Liam stepped forward, desperate. This is insane. She used to ask me for rides. She can't just jump above everyone. Dalton tilted his head. She didn't jump. She earned it. That one sentence hit like a slap, but Dalton wasn't done. He turned to me again. Arya, the press wants an official quote tomorrow morning, and the board wants your approval on the first strategic rollout. The board. My approval. The room spun with disbelief. My dad's voice cracked. Why, you're giving her that much power? Dalton gave a small, honest laugh. Your daughter built something we couldn't compete with. We had to buy it. My mother looked broken. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I felt tears of insults, mockery, and humiliation melting away. For the first time, the power in the room shifted toward me, but then Dalton's expression changed. His smile faded. He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a document with a red confidential stamp. He slid it across the table toward me. Before we move forward, he said quietly, there's one more thing you need to see. Something your family has been hiding from you for years. My breath caught. The color drained from my dad's face. My mom whispered, no, she can't know. Not now. Dalton tapped the folder. Arya, open it. I reached for it with shaking fingers, because whatever was inside this file was about to change everything I thought I knew about my family. My fingertips brushed the edge of the folder, and for a moment, the entire room felt silent, like the air itself was waiting. My mother stepped forward with a panic I had never seen on her face before. Arya, don't open that, she whispered. Please, not here. Dalton didn't even look at her. It's her legal right to know. Legal right? My heart thudded harder. I opened the folder. The first page wasn't numbers, not contracts, not anything to do with my company. It was a guardianship record with my name on it. My breath stopped. What is this? My dad's voice cracked. Arya, we meant to tell you. Dalton lifted a hand. Let her read. I flipped to the next page, and everything inside me froze. My parents weren't my legal parents. They had been receiving monthly payments for 18 years to care for me until a certain trust unlocked. Money, not love, not responsibility. Money. My mother's eyes filled with tears. Arya, it's not what you think. I stepped back. 18 years? You were paid to raise me? The room tilted as betrayal slammed into me. Liam looked away, ashamed. Jenna gasped. My aunt whispered, oh my God. Dalton spoke softly, but firmly. The final payment was issued last month, which means the trust is now unlocked and belongs solely to Arya. Trust? Unlocked? I flipped to the final page, my hands trembling, and I saw it. A number. A number. That made the $8.5 million acquisition look small. The trust fund was worth $12 million. 12. My mother let out a desperate sob. Arya, we didn't want you leaving us. If you knew the money was yours, you would have had your own life. My dad whispered. Your own choices. You wouldn't have needed us. Needed them. My blood boiled. All those years they called me the disappointment, the useless child, the embarrassment. While they were being paid to raise me, I looked at them, feeling something break forever. Do you have any idea? I said quietly. How many nights I cried thinking I wasn't good enough for you. My mother covered her face. We did what we had to, you did what made you money. Their silence confirmed everything. Dalton rested a gentle hand on my shoulder. Arya, there's one more part. I turned the page and saw the final clause. If my guardians ever emotionally abused, belittled, or mistreated me, they lose every remaining payment, and the trust immediately triples. Meaning instead of $12 million, I now had $36 million. My dad stumbled back like he'd been punched. My mom looked like her soul left her body. And before I could speak, Dalton leaned in and whispered something that made every hair on my arm stand up. Arya, they already triggered the clause. The lawyer reported everything. My head snapped up. What? Dalton nodded once. The trust switched to you entirely because of how they treated you. The room exploded into chaos. My parents shouting. My relatives stunned. Everyone scrambling to understand what this meant. But I just stood there, shaking, as the truth unfolded. I wasn't just successful. I wasn't just independent. I was one of the wealthiest people in the room. And they didn't even own me anymore. But before I could take another breath, Dalton's phone buzzed. He checked it, and his expression changed again. Arya, we have a problem. A bigger one. A shocking one. And it had nothing to do with money. The panic in Dalton's eyes made my stomach twist. He stepped closer to me so my family couldn't hear. Arya, this message isn't about the deal or the trust. It's about someone targeting you. My heartbeat spiked. Targeting me? Who? Dalton lowered his voice. Someone used your identity to access the trust before it unlocked. Someone inside this house. I snapped my head toward my family, faces pale, eyes darting, guilt dripping off certain people like sweat. My dad raised a shaky hand. Arya, we would never save it, I said coldly. Dalton tapped his tablet and turned it toward me. A digital log. A time stamp. A failed login attempt into my trust account, made 2 weeks ago, from my family's home IP address. But the most shocking part, the name on the attempt, Liam Harper, my brother. My breath caught. Liam? You tried to steal my trust before it unlocked. Liam's face turned red. I didn't mean Arya. Listen, you wanted $12 million. I whispered. From me? He stepped forward, desperate. You were supposed to be nothing. You were supposed to stay behind us. I never thought that I'd succeed. My voice cracked not with weakness, but with the sharpness of years of pain sharpening into glass. Dalton cleared his throat. There's more. He clicked to the next screen. A recorded voicemail. Sent from Liam's phone. To a lawyer. Liam's panicked voice filled the room. Unlock the trust now. I don't care what you have to do. She doesn't deserve it. She's the failure. We raised her. The money belongs to us. My mother gasped. My dad covered his mouth. Liam shook his head violently. Arya, please listen. I was angry. I stared at him. My own brother. The one who laughed the loudest when the family mocked me. The one who toasted to my failures. I stepped closer, my voice calm but cutting. Liam, you didn't just try to steal my money. You tried to steal the one thing I earned. After everything I survived in this house. He dropped to his knees. Arya, please? I'll lose everything. I didn't flinch. You should have thought about that before you tried to destroy me. Silence. Cold. Heavy. Final. Dalton placed a hand on my shoulder. Arya, the board is waiting for you outside. They need you for the official announcement. The official announcement. My new role. My new life. My real freedom. I took a breath and turned away from the broken faces behind me. This time, I wasn't the disappointment. I wasn't the failure. I wasn't the girl they mocked. I was the one walking out with a $36 million trust, an $8.5 million acquisition, a national leadership position, and a future they couldn't touch even in their dreams. As I reached the door, I looked back one last time. Not out of sadness, not out of regret, but to give them the final truth they deserved. You didn't break me, I said quietly. You built the fire that made me unstoppable. Then I stepped outside, into cameras, reporters, and a line of executives waiting for me. And for the first time ever, they watched their disappointment daughter rise higher than any of them ever would.